Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Public Works of this December 2nd meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Clerk, if you could take the roll.
Alderman Stefanik?
Here.
Alderman Perkins? Here. Alderman Lewis? Here. Alderman Marshall? Here. Alderman Grotti? Here. Alderman Rapella? Here. Alderman Nichols? Here. Alderman Eisenach? Here. All are present.
Thank you, Clerk. The first item we have here is anyone from the public that would like to speak? Oh, all right. Yeah, push your mic then. Is that working? Something told me it wasn't going to. So, because it's yellow here on my screen.
Listen, I can project.
Yeah. All right. Okay, there you go.
Eli Wickman, 710th Street. So I want to talk about the Jefferson Park Shelter. Awesome. Looks great. Everything with Jefferson Park is going just amazingly. And I'm not biased at all. Not being on the park board, it's fine. But I do want to use this time to illustrate the importance of city staff and department heads in conjunction with the Common Council. I think earlier in another meeting we were talking about maybe what may or may not have gone wrong with Water Street. Compared to, let's say, Jefferson Park, where every single step was monitored and looked at and analyzed and gone to a meeting, then another meeting, then another meeting, and then if a softball diamond got rotated, it was a weekend phone call, and then it was another meeting. So I'm saying, I think there might be a happy middle ground between the two, where some things can be delegated fairly successfully, because Common Council has, what, 14-ish committees? 13, 12 committees that they have to have their fingers in at all times. You have to keep that information in your heads at all times. And that's a lot. No, I don't expect any human to be able to keep all details of all projects in their heads at all times. That being said, I watched the same questions get asked 4 different times in the last meeting. It's a lot of information to hold. And delegation is important to city staff, and they're doing tremendous jobs. Again, incredibly biased towards parks, but I think Director Sackett is doing a great job. And I think it's really, really important that, like, when you decide what responsibilities to take on, what comes to committee, what goes to police chief, what goes to council, can that reasonably be managed at all times? Can you honestly say you can dedicate as much time as you dedicated to the Jefferson Park project as all other things? Can you have those separate meetings? Can you be able to do that? And I'm not criticizing at all. I think everything's going pretty dang well. I'm just saying, when you are delegating tasks, keep in mind that that is more on your plates, more on city staff plate. Where do you want to have meetings that go until, it's pushing 8:30. Some of us have been here a while. Some of us have, haven't left or gone home yet. Are you able to handle that? And again, it's just food for thought, because it's a lot of things, and I want to make sure as a citizen that everyone is performing at their best, that things aren't going to slip through the cracks, that things aren't going to be forgotten, which again is human. It's just mitigating how much is forgotten and how much is slipped through. But overall, I think it's going good. It's just something to keep in mind moving forward. And I think part of the reason Jefferson Park is going incredibly well is because there was a level of attention to detail and discussion and all that stuff that made it go. Like, every decision was pretty much discussed to death by either city staff and then brought to Common Council many times. You've heard me several times coming up here being like, hey, this is why we should approve this, or this is why we should go ahead with that. So I'm just thinking there's a middle ground between the two. And that's all I got. Thank you.
So basically what we just would like to see is better communication. So moving forward, we have minutes to approve for the Board of Public Works. I would entertain a motion. Alderman Rapella.
Thank you very much, Alderman Sevenick. I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Public Works minutes from 11/18/24.
Is there a second? Second made by Alderman Ted Grady. Any corrections or changes? Alderman Nichols.
Thank you, Chair. I have no corrections or changes, but just wanted to note that the Common Council rules spell out that we follow Robert's Rules of Order, and friendly amendments are not found within Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
They are noted in the minutes. I won't offer corrections.
If it's unanimous and there's no objection, they can. So there's been a motion and a second. Any other changes? Alderman Rapella, your light is still on. You're good? Okay. Then we'll take, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. Discussion and action item. This is a change order. Is there a motion? Alderman Rapella.
Thank you very much. I'll make a motion for the change order for Cardinal Construction Contract Unit Number 2024-10, and this is in regards to the Jefferson Park Shelter, and we're going to add a total of $969.96 to the charge, and this is change order number 1.
Is there a second? Second by Alderman Perkins. So this is an addition of $969.96. And I will have the director explain to the community what the change order is for.
Sure, thank you for the opportunity. In your packet, it outlines the different changes. Really, it boils down to about 3 different changes, and this is in regards to the new pavilion. So if you've been out to Jefferson Park recently, you've seen that they've started mobilizing around that site for the new pavilion on the east end of the park. So as we've gone through some of the specifications that were outlined and that our contractor brought forth, there's some changes that we're looking. One of them is on kind of some of the interior walls. It was noted to just have plywood. We're looking to put in, they're called T111 panels, so more of just a kind of a textured panel just versus plain plywood. That's where it added some of that additional cost and labor and painting, so you see a minimal change there. You see a deduction of concrete polishing. We want it to match the epoxy floor that we put in the existing pavilion. If you would go into the existing pavilion in the renovated kitchen, it has an epoxy floor. We wanted it to match that, and the specification had just a concrete polishing, which was not our preference. And then Thad had noted that the cores did not match the cores that we have in some of our existing facilities, so why you see the change of the $2,800 for the cores on some of the locks regarding the doors. So really just matching some of our specifications and standards that we wanted throughout our facilities is what this change is. You will see another change order coming in the future when I talk about that epoxy floor. They'll be getting us that price to add that epoxy flooring in. So you will see a future change order.
So basically what the director has indicated is that we've actually deducted about $8,000 from here, made some changes, and the change is an add then of just $969. So there are improvements basically to this facility. Any questions from the committee? I have a question for you, Alderman Rapella. Oh, you pulled your battery out already. All right, if there's no further questions, we'll take a roll call.
Motion carries 8-0.
All right, thank you, clerk. With that, I'll